Something about a snare roll makes you just want to go. The more you dig through it, there's little melodies happening. The bass is very active. It's a stimulating listen melodically, I think is what I'm trying to say. Welcome back to Low End University. It's always a fun-filled day when I get to hear a new band for the very first time here on the channel, and today's band is Dead to Me, a punk rock band from San Francisco, California. And the name of the bassist caught my eye immediately. Chicken. I had to read that line a few times. It's actually Tyson and Chadrico. Tyson Chicken is our correlation there. Anyway, I like the nickname. But we're here today because our Patreon community voted this track, Little Brother, into second place last month, which is the title track from their 2008 EP of the same name. Let's check it out. Wow. They're telling me to be so afraid. My little brother's getting into trouble. This is very cool. It's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different sounds. Some I'm familiar with, some maybe not so much. I like this big woofy, I don't want to generalize it as reggae bass tone, but it just, the upbeats on the guitar. So I hear a little reggae, but I hear like this whole other melodic rock thing. Like a really strong blend of the two. It's here in A flat minor. I was just talking about this in the Ohm video. That's my favorite key. So this gets a few extra points. Lots going on here. I like the sparseness of the bass part. It kind of drops out in places you don't typically expect. Like it gets going, then it kind of rests for a minute. So it's a play on the negative space in the bass part, which is equally effective. And really good production. I can hear everything really clearly. I'm just going to go back again. Okay. Right into it. Okay, chord progression. A flat up to B. So that'd be like the relative major. The 1, F sharp, E, G sharp. And then when the bass line starts going, it's back to the, I guess if we're in minor, it'd be G sharp minor. Right here. Ba 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 bum bum ba 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 ba. I don't know, there's something so groovy about just straight eighth notes with a little separation, but I think that tone has a huge part of why you just kind of want to go ba ba. I don't know, you just kind of want to sing along with it. And again, it's sparse. Dun ba dun dun da 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 dun dun ba da 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 dun. So it's a lot of different phrasings happening. The tone's going to be interesting. I've got to really dial back the treble. So we'll get to that in a second. Start when that verse starts here. See, it kind of drops out here in a second. Just kind of lets it breathe before the guitars come back in, which are really loud. So it's got a nice dynamic, like the mix has a really nice dynamic to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this line comes in and doubles it. Really moving. Wow. Okay, before we get too far, I just want to kind of get my head around the bass line for a second. I might try to dial in a tone here, but I wonder if it gets a bit grittier. Okay, one more time on that. And then the first part was... So it's all in the chord progression. Kind of rides on the A flat, G sharp there for a second. But I really like when the guitar starts doubling it here. It's almost like it's hard to tell if the bass changes tone there or if this is a play where a bass line goes in unison with the guitar part and the bass part relies on the sound of the guitar part to maybe be its tone. And they can kind of become one. And now they're just bass and guitar become one. And it's like it's almost presents as the bass line. So I really like that approach there to the line. It gets a bit more active. It calls back to the we heard a second ago, but it's up higher. Okay, see where this goes. Keeps driving under the hits. I'm kind of putting together this little melody that's getting reprised very subtly throughout it. So the bass line earlier was, that's kind of the A section. Then we have the. So now here, what's going on in these upper guitar lines, it's a little faster. It might be phrased a bit differently, but it's like that is a melody they're calling back to, or, it's similar right here. See? Okay, so that's a little different. What am I hearing? Maybe I was just talking about the line a little bit before that, but it's all riding on this dun 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 dun. Maybe a few different notes swapped out, but even under the vocals, there's that a guitar line kind of going. Wrong note there, but you get the idea. Back here. What would I do here tone-wise? Okay, you can hear when the slide happens there. That's always like a good indication of how much grit is on there, because going down on a fretted instrument, those frets are happening really tell me a lot about how much treble's actually in the tone versus how the player might be playing it to maybe mute the treble, because I can dime the treble and turn the tone knob all the way up, and I can still pluck and make you think there's not a lot of treble. I'll save you like really striking it to hear how nasty this would probably be. But when a bass player slides down like that, you can kind of tell in the ballpark of maybe a bit more information about the EQ. Nonetheless, I'm going to boost the bass. I'm going to pull the treble back. I'm going to scoop it. And I might even roll a bit off of my jazz pickup. I don't hear a lot of that nasally bridge pickup character in the tone. So this bass, I have an individual tone knob for each pickup. I'm going to take the jazz bass, the bridge pickup, if you will, down, maybe the tone knob down, and get something like almost too boomy. Maybe the tone knob back up. I might keep that bump knob up, take some of the bass out overall. So it kind of has that thump still. Kind of sounds like the slide I just heard. A little bit of treble in there. Okay, we've got that in. Let's see what happens. Right here. That slide. Nice melody in there. It's very subtle. So many send-us letters they send back home. You can't carry things, I'll push them away. Cool shit that happens there. You feel so alive, but you still got the way. I really like that. It's like, how can you make some eighth notes in succession be really catchy? It's how it lines up with everything else. It's how it's still going under the vocal. It almost distracts you from the vocal, but it also propels the momentum of the vocal, having this very eighth note thing that both bass and guitar are doing. And I really think now that I've heard more of the song, the bass is pretty similar tone wise. I think it's relying again on that the sound of the guitar to be like the trebly end of the bass tone. Change it up here. Where everybody starts clapping. Now we have like I don't want to say harsh vocals, but some yelling, screaming, the trailing off that just comes behind the vocal that you've already heard and just gives it some cathartic impact. Kind of has that like hot water music thing where they kind of go yeah and they kind of trail off, or maybe even like AFI a bit. Stuff I really have come to love. Great melodic stuff. That is totally a section that makes me want to clap there. I'm going to start back there. And there's just so many little great nuggets of diatonic melody, nothing too out of key at all so far. It's all been very B major, G sharp minor. I guess you'd really call it A flat minor. Nonetheless, it's stayed very in the scale, even all the little leads happening. But it's been so melodic. They've made such good use of all the available tones, like covered the whole scale very liberally. I dig that. I'm going to go back to when this little bridge section starts. Like I got a tone pretty in the ballpark. It sounds good. Maybe a touch more treble, but you know, now I'm just being picky. Thought the song was over here. Something about a snare roll makes you just want to go. But what is it? I don't know. Cool phrasing there. 3, 4. You know, not placing it on the downbeat. I really like that right here. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's that same line back there. I haven't heard that chord yet. Yeah, that same line is just keeping everything so glued together. You know, whatever it is, it's just that same like chords change under a melody that doesn't change. Good stuff. Ooh, nice chromatic walk up. That was intense. You know, as much as this is very much a punk rock thing, I mean, they're a punk rock band, there's always things about bands I hear and I go, this reminds me of something completely unrelated that I like. And it almost has this alt rock, indie rock's not the right word, but I'm just referring to the layering. I'm referring to the fact that everything doesn't just get out of the way when the vocal starts and it's just very one-dimensional. There's, you know, the more you dig through it. There's little melodies happening. The bass is very active. It's a stimulating listen melodically, I think is what I'm trying to say. And these guys do it really well. I mean, nothing got repetitive. It was a little different every time. And I like how it evolved away from that. Kind of started off in that sublime, just talking about the bass tone, the upbeats on the guitar, the really open, airy space in the mix. And it got more and more dense, very smoothly. But again, anytime I stopped listening to the vocal, there was something interesting over here. And then the vocals would kind of grab me back with the harsh, kind of yelly thing at the end there, which is really intense. And I think the thing I wanted to say is by the end of this song, hearing the vocal style harshen up a bit, I feel like that's a part of their sound I might not have heard here on this track. But I would love to come back to these guys. There's a lot of like Thrice is another band that kind of reminds me of musically speaking. Just the orchestrations, the chord progressions, it's lush, it's melodic. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't sound complicated kind of thing. Great stuff. Dead to Me, band I haven't heard of a ton, not even in the requests, but thank you to our Patreon community for voting them into second place. And again, that's the best way to support the channel. Come hang out with us, patreon.com/LowenUniversity. I have bass lessons, music theory lessons, a great community. You should come hang out with us. We do full albums every month. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that now. Hit the bell notification, like the video. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.